Hey everyone, this is the Positivity Corner with Patrice, coming back at you with reaction videos. A lot of reaction videos. I think from what I've said previously that I was going to do a very deep dive on a band. Probably a lot of you guessed who it was. It's these four gentlemen who changed not only music but shifted the culture in the early 60s. Of course, I'm talking about the Beatles. I remember when the Beatles came to America. I remember when they were on the Ed Sullivan Show. Going to speak a little bit about that in a minute. I remember those films that they made, Hard Day's Night, Help. But most of all, I remember the music. That music, it changed the world. And people don't understand who weren't there. That whole Beatlemania thing, it was a real thing. It was for real. It took them as young men, chewed them up and spit them out. They started in 1960. By 1970, and technically I want to say 1969 because John Lennon was through with them by then. But I'll say 1970. So you're saying 10 years. It was done. They were done with us and each other. They didn't have a lot of albums. I was shocked to see that they only had 13 studio albums, I believe. 13. Why was I so shocked? Because when I looked through the discography for them and I looked at each album, I knew 99.5% of their songs. That's how influential they were. Even the albums that I didn't really care for, I still knew all the music because it got played on the radio. Starting with AM radio in the beginning, and then that shift, at least in the United States, to FM and classic rock. You don't hear them as much today as you used to. That's fair because there's thousands of other artists that have come out since they called it quits in 1970, and that's fair to me. But their influence is it's just all encompassing. For a group that was only together for 10 years, made 13 studio albums. It's it's awe-inspiring what they did and how they moved the needle of the culture. Even their appearance. When they came to America in the early 60s, when they did that first appearance, I believe it was February of 1964 on the Ed Sullivan Show, I remember it. I was 5 or 6 years old, but I remember it because I had older sisters and they were into that Beatles stuff because there was Beatles everything. We had Beatle lunch boxes, Beatle wigs, Beatle everything. We were watching the Wonderful World of Disney or something like that, which came on, I believe, between came on between like 7 and 8 p.m. on Sundays. I was very little, but my parents let me stay up to watch the Ed Sullivan Show, which came on at 8 p.m. so that I could see the Beatles. And of course, my parents wanted to see them because we lived in New York and they came from England to New York. So we were seeing them on the local news. It was a big deal. There were hundreds of screaming girls following them everywhere in New York. They made, appearances, the whole 9 yards, right? So my parents had an interest in it as well. I will never forget when they came on the stage and my mother's comment was, "Look at how long their hair is. That's just, ugh." Why? Because they had long hair. White guys in the United States did not wear their hair that long. They wore, we called them crew cuts. I guess now you'd call it a buzz cut. People were horrified at how they looked. I thought they were cute myself. They had on the nice little suits and little tie. Ed Sullivan, chat him up a little bit. At the end, we were excited. We were dancing. We thought it was great. Critics did not. They did not get good reviews. What happened was, after that, they started touring and they did a show down in Washington, D.C. and slayed it. And that was it. The juggernaut began in the United States after that. For this reaction, I said this was going to be a deep dive. I'm going to do 30 plus reactions. What I did was I went through all of their albums and looked at all of their tracks and just picked. At first, I ended up with 55 or 60 songs. I said, there's no way I'm doing that. If I do that, I'll never get back on the channel. I said, that's crazy. So I cut it in half. So I got about 30, 31 that I liked. And basically, I'm just going to tell you why I like them. Some of them might be familiar to you. If you are not familiar with the Beatles, I suggest that you listen to them. I think they were innovative. They were intellectual at times. At times they were foolish. At times funny. I'm talking about their music. Heartbreaking. Their songs could be heartbreaking. It runs the gamut. I think as far as musically, they used everything from folk to rock to pop, Indian influences, jazzy. I mean, they had a lot of influences musically. They were innovative in that manner, I think. And they weren't above using people, other musicians, to augment their skills. People like Eric Clapton and Billy Preston played on the albums. They were cool with it. I think the one thing I'm sorry about is that the public just sucked the life out of them, and they stopped touring early on. They got tired of it. By the time Sgt. Pepper came out, they had stopped touring. They were bored with it. They were tired of it. And they couldn't be heard because there was so much screaming. That's a shame. I think that's a shame. Because they were musicians. When you got down to it, they were 4 working musicians who played instruments, who wrote songs, who performed. And I think the fact that they felt that they couldn't do that in public for the last like 4 years that they were together. It's a shame. I think it's a shame. I think people who are younger than me and a lot of other folks, they don't understand how much influence they had. You know, they would say things off the cuff and it would be an outrage. I'll give this example. When they started touring in the United States, they were faced with segregation. We're talking early 60s. You still had separate drinking fountains in the United States. Ugly stuff. They were supposed to play a concert in 1964 in Florida. The audience was to be segregated. They were like, nah, we not playing it. And they put something in their contracts with U.S. promoters that, yes, they would only play to integrated audiences. And if you don't think that wasn't a big deal in 1964, you better think again. Because a lot of entertainers, they didn't give a crap about that. I'm going to play this song. This is from, let me see, I got a long list here. It's from 1963. 1960, oh my God, 1963. My God, I was like 5 years old. But I remember this song. And this song is on their first album, which was called Please Please Me, which I'm not playing. I'm not playing that song. I like this song. This is actually, as far as the single is concerned, this is, I believe, the B-side of another great tune, I Want to Hold Your Hand, which I'm not playing either. Like I said, I had 50 or 60 on my list, and I was like, I can't. This will take me the rest of the year to do reactions to. I was like, I can't do this. There were so many songs I cut out. It was crazy. But anyway, I like this song. It's catchy. It's fast. You know the beginning of it. If you know the Beatles, you know the beginning of it. And I'll just say it for people. It's a count. Okay, it's a count. George Martin, their amazing producer. He wanted them to replicate a live performance. And that's why you hear the count. And it's a very famous song. I love it. It's called I Saw Her Standing There. I love the music. I love the singing. I love the guitar. I just love it. So here you go. From 1963. The Beatles. I Saw Her Standing There. They sound so raw. I love those early records. I do. They sound so raw and young on those records. It's just amazing. Fun fact about this song. This is the only song that each one of the Beatles played in solo performances after they broke up. This is the only one that each one of them played. I love that song. It's just cute and everybody knows that. Ooh! It's just a fun song. That was from 1963. The Beatles. I saw her standing there. These reaction videos, they're not going to be that. I'm not going to go too deep into these songs. I'm just going to play them. And I hope you enjoy them as much as I did when I was a kid. You know, when these albums came out, I was too young. So, you know, I remember my dad buying Sgt. Pepper and Abbey Road because we were too young to buy them. I think I was like 9 years old, I think, when Sgt. Pepper came out. I think I was 10 when Abbey Road came out. I was too young to go to the record store. So, you know, we asked our dad to buy them for us, and he did. As always, this is the Positivity Corner with Patrice. Please like, click, share, subscribe for further content. And I will be back with a lot more of the Beatles. Take care, everybody.